NFL draft season is officially in full swing, and how do I know that? Because mock drafts are starting to flow in. Of course, that means they have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking players in the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft. And today, we're going to be breaking down Mel Kiper Jr., Daniel Jeremiah, and Dane Brugler's latest mocks and who they have the Steelers taking in round one of the 2024 NFL Draft. And if you're interested in Steelers draft content all throughout this offseason, Steelers Talk is going to be the ultimate destination for the latest Steelers draft news. If you want to know which players the Steelers are targeting, which ones they're bringing in for visits, which guys they interview at the combine, etc., we're going to have you covered with that news and rumors coverage. Also, in-depth prospect scouting reports. Every single position of need. We're going to be talking about the top guys. I'm going to have in-depth scouting reports on all of them. So make sure you click that subscribe button for that coverage as well. And then also we got weekly Steelers mock drafts. I know how much you guys love those mock drafts. We did them last year. They were a massive success. Once we get going here, we're going to have weekly Steelers mock drafts for you guys to enjoy. So make sure you click that subscribe button for the best damn Steelers draft coverage for free right here on YouTube. So let's start with the godfather of draft media himself, ESPN draft analyst Mel Kiper Jr., who just dropped his first 2024 NFL mock draft. And Mel's pick here for the Steelers at number 20 overall in the first round is cornerback out of the University of Georgia, Kamari Lassiter. This is what Mel had to say about going and getting the Bulldog corner in the first round. Sure, the Steelers hit on cornerback last year with Joey Porter Jr. with the top pick of round 2 a year ago, but this is a defense that saw 33-year-old corner Patrick Peterson play more than 1,000 snaps, so there's room for an injection of youth at the position. Continues to say here, Lassiter emerged as a lockdown corner for the Bulldogs in 2023, though he had just one career interception, which came all the way back in 2021. Still, he allowed a total of 9 receptions for 91 yards as the nearest defender in coverage, and none of those passes went for scores. He could form an elite duo with Porter. And honestly, man, I would have no problem drafting Kamari Lassiter. He's great in press man coverage. He had a great season with the Bulldogs this past year, and he'd be playing a pretty similar role in Pittsburgh's defense than what he played there in Georgia just a season ago. Of course, we know Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin. They love their Bulldogs there. They really have a great winning culture there in Athens, and that's something that this organization really appreciates. So if Kamari Lassiter is on the board and guys like Cooper DeJean and Kool-Aid McKinstry and all those other corners are off the board, I could certainly see them taking Kamari Lassiter in the first round. Now let me know who your guy is down there in the comments section. Who do you want the Steelers to draft in round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft? This will be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by letting me know which prospect you have your eye on for the Steelers this spring. Then we get to Daniel Jeremiah from NFL Network, one of the guys that I really respect in NFL draft media. Mel, not so much in my opinion, but Daniel really knows what he's talking about. He's a former scout, and he has the Steelers taking Amarius Mims, the offensive tackle out of the University of Georgia. Another Bulldog. It seems like every single Steelers mock I look at has them either taking Kamari Lassiter or Amarius Mims. This is what Daniel had to say about taking the Bulldog tackle. The Steelers go back to Georgia after selecting Broderick Jones and Darnell Washington last year and George Pickens in 2022. Mims would join Jones to give Pittsburgh a pair of athletic bookends with prototypical size. Now, I got to say it, man. Omar Khan, Mike Tomlin, they love the culture there in Athens. They love the pedigree that these players have coming into the National Football League. Broderick Jones really started to come into his own as a run blocker towards the end of the 2023 campaign. Now, the only issue I might potentially have with getting a guy like Mims is that he's pretty similar to Broderick Jones, right? So, who would be playing left tackle, who would be playing right tackle? Both of them have similar issues in terms of pass protection. So do you really want 2 tackles that have had issues with pass protection against elite competition in the past? I'm not too sure about that, but honestly, Amarius Mims and Broderick Jones, both of them have the prototypical size and athleticism that you look at, and at the end of the day, if you get these two together, they could be one of the best tackle duos in the National Football League for years to come. Now, coming up here, I got the Athletics 2-round mock draft from their draft analyst, Dane Brugler, another guy I really respect. But before I get into that, let's talk about probably the steal of the draft last year when Omar Khan somehow landed Joey Porter Jr. in the second round of the 2023 NFL Draft. That was a great moment for Pittsburgh Steelers fans to see the son of a Steelers legend get drafted, and then he went out and absolutely balled out. He is going to be the lockdown corner for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the next decade, in my opinion. And I think getting his jersey from our friends at Fanatics would be one hell of an investment for you. So go to chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. to get that number 24 Porter jersey in your closet today. Don't wait. There's limited supply in terms of the sizing. So to make sure you get yours in your size, make sure you go chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. to get a great deal on this awesome investment for your Steelers collection today. All right, so now the last one here, we'll talk about Dane Brugler's 2-round mock draft. And listen, Dane is one of the more respectable draft analysts out there, in my opinion. He does a great job for The Athletic, and he just put out a 2-round mock draft, okay? So not only will we have the first-round pick, but we'll also have the second-round pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers on this one. So in the first round, he has Cooper DeJean out of Iowa dropping to number 20. Now, of course, Cooper had that really bad leg injury in practice this year, and I think that Dane is probably projecting that injury is probably going to move him down the totem pole with how much talent there is at the cornerback position this year. But this is what Dane had to say about the Hawkeye corner. One of the top athletes in the draft, DeJean, has experience as an outside corner, inside corner, and a box/middle field defender. I'll be sending a petition for the NFL to add a dunk contest at the Combine so we can see DeJean go to work, and we already know he performs well wearing black and gold. And listen, man, I mean, obviously it sucks what happened to his leg, but if he ends up falling to 20 and he comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, this guy is the Brian Branch of this year's NFL draft class, okay? We talked about Brian Branch all last year, how he was going to be a stud in the National Football League. It's the same thing with Cooper DeJean. He can play outside. He can play in the slot. He can even play safety for you if you want. He is a Swiss Army knife that does everything really, really well. Excellent athlete, super quick twitch. And listen, if he plays outside corner in the league, might be the only starting white corner in the National Football League. How about that? All right, now we get into the second round here, pick number 51. And Dane has the Steelers addressing their center position here with Zack Frasier out of West Virginia. And this is somebody that grew up in Pennsylvania. This is somebody that I believe grew up as a Steelers fan, and he's somebody that's an absolute mauler, and he has the mentality of a Pittsburgh Steelers center. And he could be the next in a long line of great Pittsburgh Steelers centers. This is what Brugler had to say about Frasier. Having grown up 90 miles south of Pittsburgh, Frasier embodies the toughness and physicality you expect from a Steelers offensive lineman. His late season leg injury clouds his projection a tad, but it wouldn't be a surprise if he became a starting NFL center very early next season. And listen, I know that he's had the injury and all this different stuff, but sign me up for some Zack Frasier, man. He's somebody that would bring the passion. He would bring the grit. He would bring the technique, and he would bring just absolute physicality to that center position, something that Mason Cole just simply didn't do this year, all right? He was soft. He couldn't snap the ball properly. I believe in Zack Frasier. I think he'd be a great fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And honestly, I would love to see this Pennsylvania native end up in the black and gold. So now my grades here in terms of these mock drafts. Mel Kiper with Kamari Lassiter, I'll give him an A- because, I think that there's better prospects out there. I like Cooper DeJean a little bit better. I like Kool-Aid McKinstry a bit better than Lassiter. But Lassiter's a fine player, so I'll give it an A-. I'll give Daniel Jeremiah a B+ for Amarius Mims. I think Fuaga out of Oregon State might actually be a safer bet than Mims. So I'll give Daniel a B+ there. And then I'll give an A+ to Dane Brugler for giving us Cooper DeJean and Zack Frasier. I mean, goodness gracious. Talk about hitting 2 home runs in a row. If the Steelers end up getting those 2 players, oh my goodness, Omar Khan absolutely knocked this draft out of the park once again. Now let me know down there in the comments section, make your pick. Out of all these mock drafts here, would you rather go with the Kamari Lassiter pick with Mel Kiper Jr. type MK? Would you rather go with the Amarius Mims and get an offensive tackle type DJ for Daniel Jeremiah? Or do you like the 2-round mock draft where you can get Cooper DeJean at number 20 and then your starting center for the future and Zack Frasier in round 2 type DB if you like Dane Brugler's 2-round mock draft? Also, make sure you guys give me a follow on Twitter. I will give you a shout out on a future edition of Steelers Talk if you do so. I put all my Steelers updates on there. I put channel updates on there. We're going to be putting a lot of NFL draft film analysis on there, and you can get a shout out on the show. So here's today's shout outs. Shout out to Teresa, Empty Cup, Dark 577 Pencil, Michelle, Elena, Pittsburgh News, Kyle, Ian Smoke PW. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. And make sure you guys click that subscribe button. That's going to be the end of today's show. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button for more Steelers draft coverage all throughout the 2024 offseason.